Hmm?
Robin, issue 7, Joshua Williamson writing with Gleb Melnikov on the art. And we have to talk about a new Al Ghul in this issue. We have great
Yeah.
grandmother, was it Rua Ghul?
Yeah. Ruh, however we're pronouncing this, because I know it
Ra.
goes back that
Ra Al
is it
Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul? Ra's al Ghul? Is this Ra? I'm calling her mother soul still, just because that's basic. We'll call her great grandmother soul here, because that's who she turns out to be. And man, I love everything Williamson's doing right now. Between this, and we'll talk about Deathstroke in a few, but he's just having fun. And I feel like this is what would happen if you gave someone like me permission to tell whatever story I wanted in the DC universe. You end up with something like Robin or Deathstroke Inc. And it's very checking my specific boxes here. So yeah, the revelation that she's his great grandmother, but like, does Roz know she exists? Because he wasn't always Ra's al Ghul, right? Like, that's part of the legend. That's something that he became. But apparently this runs through their family, and yeah.
Yeah, so the issue starts with Respawn, whose identity is heavily teased in this issue. You've got a moment where his mask is almost taken off, but he's like, no, it's not time yet, And I'm like, oh, who is this? Who are we going to recognize as this Respawn character? I don't know.
I also love that Damien's like, get a domino mask then, dummy. As if that's going to prevent us from knowing his identity, but it's one of those comic book things that I love, that a simple domino mask can keep your identity secret. But yeah, I just love that part.
Yeah, we see a little bit of what looks like white hair on whoever this is, but certainly no one came to mind. Although Ravager really wants to know who Respawn is. That's what her main goal seems to be.
I'm feeling it's tied to Deathstroke somehow, just based off of the look, right? But I don't know, because none of those kids. You have Grant, and then you have whatever Jericho's name was. I forget his name, and then Rose. But I'm not aware of any other Wilson kids.
I don't think it's one of his kids.
So,
I don't think that's what it is. If anything, this wouldn't be that exciting, but I suspect it might be someone who, not Tim, sorry, Damien's been with in like one of his Teen Titans rosters or something. I don't know. But they have a fight. He kicks him off the edge of a cliff. Fun stuff in the art, and this is where Mother Soul comes to talk to him about stealing the book. And Damien reveals that he read enough to realize who it is. You're Ruh al Ghul, soul of the demon. So not head of the demon, soul of the demon.
Which goes in with the Mother Soul, right? Like, that whole thing.
Yeah. And basically, Damien explains that, at least to some extent, that this island is getting stronger because of all the deaths. So all these deaths are effectively sacrifices that are making the island grow more powerful. And it looks like the greenery is getting stronger. It's becoming more lush and lavish as the deaths pile up. And we see like a montage of all the others getting killed around the island. And Dave's like, I have to stop this tournament. I have to stop it right now. And we get effectively the semi-finals when Damien gets back. Ravager's like, nope, I'm going to fight Connor Hawke. And Flatline's like, nope, we're definitely fighting Damien. And Damien's trying to talk her out of it. He does his best to try and speak her down.
He's like, just let me win. And she's like, no, that's not what I came here for. I came here to know death. And she goes to do the heart grab. And I was like, oh no, he's not falling for this again.
Not at all. And you get those close-up panels where it's like he knows what she's about to do, and blocks it, snaps her wrist, kind of spins her around, and then kicks her so hard into the wall that she actually does seemingly die. You get the heart rate monitor kind of panels as she's going. I actually really like the art touch here of like when she's lying there dead and Damien's just sort of kneeled down next to her, of just a plain white around them, like no panel, no box, no nothing. It's just this infinite white void. Really nice touch. And then the ghostly hand of Alfred on his shoulder. And this is not her third death. She's not gone for good, but
No.
In fact, I actually really like that someone's heckling Raptor's like, "Hey, Raptor, why don't you get back in the tournament?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"I've already died twice. I'm not
Yeah.
having," because obviously the third death is like you're dead for good in the
Right.
rules. So, but yeah, so yeah, Mother Soul shows up, gloats a little bit, and Damien like reiterates that he's going to stop her. He's going to stop this tournament. But she's like, "Hey, you're in the finals. They're the last two." And he's like, "Wait, Ravager?" And no, Ravager's lying there dead. It's Connor Hawk versus Damien. They run towards each other. Cliffhanger. See you next time for the finals. I
I
mean,
love that the two secret sons of Oliver Queen and Bruce Wayne are the finals of this tournament. Like, it's just great.
I think this issue was one of the best that the book has had, purely just in terms of everything felt really. We had a great action scene at the start, then we had a great, like, you know, the bombshell of who Mother Soul really is, adding to the Ra's al Ghul lore, and then we get all the fighting that takes place, and Damien having more of a defined purpose now. Now he believes that he has to stop something, so it's more like a hero's journey where he actually does have like a heroic goal in mind now. It's not just like some sort of vague, I'm learning who I am, or I'm wanting to find out what's going on. Now he has like, there's a villainous thing happening here. He wants to stop it. He might fail, but when he does fail, he's going to presumably have a little team of allies now that he's maybe going to sort of, you know, convince to join his effort from the other competitors.
So, like, we try to read that Teen Titans book where that put him with, you know, like Wallace and Crush from you know, Lobo's daughter, and it always felt kind of hollow, at least to me. Here, it just felt like they kind of built a team around him, and it just feels organic. Like, these characters, like Ravager and Connor Hawk and Flatline, they all just feel like they mesh better with Damien. And if that's, like, the best thing that comes out of this book, like, great. Like, you know, I'm still enjoying it. I've always kind of loved Damian Wayne, just because he's such a little shit. So the fact here that he's getting to grow properly, I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, no, I felt it. And the characters, because at this point, you know, when this book started, we didn't really know who Respawn. I mean, we might know who it is when he takes the mask off, but we didn't know who Flatline was. But she's already got enough character that I kind of like, you know, I had fun seeing her again when she popped back up in this issue. Ravager we already liked, obviously, but all of these characters, like, there's a nice little cast now that I'm kind of invested in the entire group and not just Damien, which is probably as good as a compliment as I can give a book like this. So very neat. I think the death of Flatline towards the end of the issue is handled very well. The emotional realization of Damien and not liking what he's doing, and that being kind of this motivator to stop her, that all this killing is wrong and he's going to stand up for it and say, no, we're not doing this. It makes you want to root for him, for as much of a little shitty as he is. Like, his heart is in this right place now, for if nothing else. And sometimes rooting for a character who seemed like more of an antagonist to begin with, when they reach this kind of moment, is some of the most satisfying rooting that one can do in a story. I don't know, there's something immensely satisfying about it. I guess it's because it's someone who has actually turned over a new leaf to some extent, and you really want to root for the success of that through line. So yeah, and the art stuff's still great. Melnikov's been killing it. All the action scenes flow really well. A lot of good motion, a lot of good, like, a lot of the swooping as Flatline and Damien are sort of countering moves, and he's like countering the thing that killed him the last time. All of that is told very well in the art.
Yeah,
you can see him, you can see him thinking, right before he like counters something. You can see him thinking about it. You can see him realizing that he has to. So works really well.
Yeah. Well, I want to say too, it's Melnikov and Max Dunbar. I can't tell if Dunbar's just the colorist or if he took over pages, but it's seamless. Like, I couldn't tell if there's a difference in the art. But yeah.
Yeah. No, really good stuff. Robin's been a nice little series so far. What are you giving Robin?
I'm giving this one a 9. I really enjoyed this issue.
Jesus Christ. Another solid 8 for me on this one. Really enjoying the progression of Damien and the supporting cast around him.